Jim Jones never thought he'd be the one begging, but after years of rocky love, public betrayals, and unspoken pain, the man who once ran the streets is now running after the only woman who ever had his heart, Chrissy Lampkin. But here's the twist. While Jim's out here pulling every move in the book, showing up at her events, texting her all night, even reaching out to her friends for help, Chrissy, sis might already be gone, emotionally and romantically. Word on the street is Chrissy's been spotted getting cozy with a new man, one who listens, shows up, and doesn't need the cameras to prove he cares. Now Jim's desperate. Sources close to the couple say he's planning something big to win her back. A public confession, a proposal, maybe even therapy. But is it too little, too late? Because Chrissy's slope, it's real. And this time, it's cheesing herself. Stay tuned as we break down what pushed Chrissy to finally walk away, who the new mystery man is, and how Jim is spiraling behind the scenes. Jim Jones is no stranger to the spotlight or to drama. But lately, it's not a rap beef or business deal making headlines. It's something a lot closer to his heart, Chrissy Lampkin. After more than 2 decades of a relationship filled with ups, downs, public arguments, proposals, and prolonged silence, Jim is finally waking up. But it might be too late, because Chrissy, she's not just threatening to walk away this time. She already did. The streets are talking. She might not be looking back. It started subtle. Chrissy was pulling away quietly. She stopped showing up at the same events. She wasn't posting about Jim. And while fans speculated a breakup, Jim kept brushing it off like everything was cool. But behind the scenes, Chrissy was done being the one fighting for the relationship. According to close friends, she gave Jim chance after chance to show up, to change, to commit, not just with words, but with action. But he kept pushing her to the side, assuming she'd always be there. Then came the turning point, the Miami incident. Sources say Jim was invited to an industry yacht party, the type of high-end, exclusive event where stars mingle, deals get made, and cameras are always lurking. But Chrissy wasn't on that invite list. She didn't even know about it. She found out through the blogs. Who posted photos of Jim surrounded by models and influencers, champagne in hand, laughing, clearly living his best life. But what stung the most? One photo showed him getting a little too close to a woman who looked nothing like Chrissy, and way too comfortable. That image went viral within hours. Fans flooded Chrissy's page with sympathy and questions. Is this why you haven't been with him lately? Girl, you deserve better. He's never gonna change. Chrissy didn't respond. But just days later, she did something even louder. She wiped almost every picture of Jim from her Instagram. Years of memories gone in a swipe. And Jim, he went silent. That's when insiders say reality started hitting him. For the first time in a long time, Chrissy wasn't calling. She wasn't checking. She wasn't coming back. She had always been the one to fight, to forgive, stick around even when he gave her every reason to walk away. But not this time. Jim started reaching out. At first, it was through texts, then calls, then showing up unannounced. And Chrissy, she didn't ignore him, but she didn't let him back in either, because by now, something had changed. She had changed. Reports began surfacing that Chrissy had been seen dining in Soho with a well-known entrepreneur, someone low-key, older, and very much not in the entertainment industry. A man rumored to have his own money, his own peace. Most importantly, his focus on Chrissy. At first, fans thought it was a business meeting, but the way they laughed together, the way he touched her hand across the table, it's the way she looked at him, this wasn't business. This was something new, and Jim knew it. Behind the scenes, he started scrambling. Friends close to the rapper say he's been spiraling, not in a reckless way, but in a deeply emotional one. He's realizing the years he took Chrissy for granted, brushing off her pleas for commitment, dragging his feet on marriage, chasing the industry instead of building a solid foundation at home, are now catching up to him. He's been trying To get her attention the only way he knows how? Grand gestures. A surprise flower delivery at her condo. A private chef sent to her door. Even a message posted to his story, quoting one of their old interviews. "I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to show it right." But Chrissy, she's not falling for it because the woman she is now isn't the woman who once waited around hoping for a ring. Chrissy's journey has been one of growth. From love and hip-hop's wildest storylines to becoming a woman who's finally prioritizing peace and purpose. She's showing the world that her love isn't up for negotiation anymore, and Jim, he's finally starting to realize he might have fumbled the one thing that was truly real. People close to Chrissy say she's open to healing, but not necessarily to reconciling. She's not bitter, one source said. She's just tired. She doesn't want to go back and fix the same problems she's been fixing for years. She's ready for something new, someone new, and honestly, I think she found it. Now fans are divided. Some are rooting for Jim, hoping this is his wake-up call, that he'll fight for her and finally grow into the man she always believed he could be. Others say it's too late. They're cheering Chrissy on, encouraging her to keep glowing, keep moving forward, and never settle for half love again. As for the mystery man, he hasn't spoken publicly, but his presence is being felt. Quietly, steadily, showing up in the background of Chrissy's recent photos. His car, his silhouette, his influence. And while Jim's out here making noise, chasing, posting cryptic messages, Chrissy's silence is the loudest response of all. She doesn't need to prove anything. She already did the work. She loved loudly. She stayed faithfully. And when it finally became clear that her love was being wasted, she walked away quietly. Now, Jim's standing at the edge of a cliff, looking at everything he's about to lose and realizing he should have protected it. When he had the chance, Jim Jones didn't waste any time after hearing that Chrissy was officially done. He wasn't about to let years of love, loyalty, and shared dreams disappear without a fight. From the outside, it looked like Jim had it all together. But behind the scenes, he was unraveling. For the first time in years, he was showing real vulnerability. And that vulnerability pushed him to do something nobody expected. He hopped on a flight to Miami. No cameras, no security, just a man trying to save the woman he still called his heart. When he landed, insiders say Jim didn't even check into a hotel. Instead, he headed straight to the spot Chrissy had been staying at, luxury condo facing the beach. Word is, he showed up unannounced. No flowers, no sweet talk, just raw emotion and desperation on his face. He reportedly waited in the lobby for almost 2 hours before Chrissy agreed to meet him downstairs. What happened next was tense, awkward, and explosive. Eyewitnesses claim Chrissy came down looking flawless but emotionally guarded. She didn't give him a hug. She didn't smile. Instead, she crossed her arms and looked him straight in the eye like she was ready for war. One onlooker said she was standing tall, like she had nothing to lose and everything to gain by letting him go. Jim, however, was shaken. For once, the usually smooth-talking rapper didn't have much to say. He reportedly told her, "I messed up. And I know I've said that before, but this time I really mean it. I want to fix this. Want the US." But Chrissy wasn't moved. Not this time. She told him point blank, "You've said that every time, and each time I believed you until I stopped believing in myself." That line hit like a gut punch. Jim looked like he'd been slapped without a hand being raised. Chrissy wasn't just done, she was emotionally drained. As the two argued outside the condo, bystanders started recording. Someone leaked a clip of the moment to the shade room, and within minutes, fans were weighing in. Some were rooting for Jim, hoping he'd finally step up and make things right. But most were applauding Chrissy for standing her ground and putting herself first. Now, here's where it gets even more intense. Sources close to Chrissy say she's not alone in Miami. She's reportedly been spending time with a mysterious man who works in real estate development. Tall, well-dressed, and nothing like Jim. This new guy is said to be calm, respectful, and, most importantly, available, and word is, Jim found out. after being turned away by Chrissy. Jim, allegedly, started making calls trying to figure out who this guy was. He even showed up at a restaurant a few nights later where Chrissy was spotted having dinner. And things almost turned ugly. A witness at the restaurant claims Jim walked in and saw Chrissy sitting across the table from the new guy, laughing, sipping wine, and looking genuinely happy. Jim reportedly approached their table, but Chrissy shut it down instantly. She told him, "You're not going to make a scene here. It's my piece now." Jim was clearly fuming. He didn't say much, but his body language told the whole story. Shoulders tense, jaw tight, and fists clenched. But instead of lashing out, he turned around and walked out with paparazzi, catching the entire moment from across the street. The headlines were brutal. Chrissy replaces Jim Jones with Mystery Man. Jim catches Chrissy on a date, walks out in silence. Fans react as Chrissy finally moves on for good. It was official. The narrative had shifted. For years, Chrissy was seen as the woman who waited. It's the one who stood by her man through thick and thin. But now, she was the woman who finally walked away and meant it. Back in New York, Jim tried to save face. He went live on Instagram, casually talking to fans, pretending everything was normal. But people could see the cracks. He was rambling, drinking, and then he slipped. He said, "Y'all don't even know the half." When a man loses his queen, that's a different kind of pain. That one line sent social media into a frenzy. Even people who weren't fans of Jim were feeling for him. Still, they weren't forgetting his years of inconsistency. One fan commented, "Now he sees her worth." But it took losing her for him to realize it, but just when people thought things couldn't get messier. They did. Mama Jones entered the chat. Yes, Jim's mother, who's had a rocky relationship with Chrissy for years, posted a cryptic message on her story. "Some women were never meant to be part of the family anyway. Let him heal and find a real queen." It didn't take long for fans to connect the dots. People started blasting Mama Jones for being a part of the problem, suggesting her constant interference contributed to Chrissy's final decision to walk away. Others defended her, saying she was just looking out for her son. But here's the twist: Jim reportedly reached out to Mama Jones and told her to stay out of it. That's right. For the first time in forever, Jim stood up to his mom over Chrissy, even if Chrissy was no longer by his side. Some fans speculated that it was too little, too late. And while all this drama was unfolding, Chrissy was doing the most powerful thing of all, remaining silent. No Instagram rants, no subtweets, no interviews. She was just living her life, posting soft photos of sunsets, good food, and quiet mornings. Her silence spoke volumes. She didn't need to explain her decision. She was finally at peace. Meanwhile, Jim started making music again. Rumor has it he's back in the studio, pouring all his emotions into a new album that's set to drop later this year. Insiders say this might be his most raw and personal work to date. But will it be enough to win Chrissy back? The reality is, Chrissy might already be gone for good. Stay tuned for part 3, where the truth about Chrissy's new man, a potential engagement, and Jim's emotional breakdown finally come to light. And just like that, it's a man who once seemed to have everything: fame, fortune, and the love of a ride daughter was left chasing shadows of a woman who had already stepped into her future without him. After the viral footage of Jim Jones showing up unexpectedly at Chrissy's brunch with her new mystery man, the internet exploded. Fans were divided. Some felt bad for Jim after all. It looked like he was genuinely trying. But others felt it was too little, too late. And Chrissy, she wasn't holding back anymore. The brunch incident wasn't just a coincidence. According to close insiders, Jim knew exactly where Chrissy would be. Word on the street is that he called a mutual friend, trying to accidentally bump into her while cameras weren't supposed to be rolling, but someone was rolling, because the moment Jim stepped in and saw Chrissy laughing with her new man, the disappointment on his face told 1,000 stories. He tried to play it cool, giving Chrissy a side hug and forcing a smile, but she barely flinched. Her man stood up, extended a hand politely. Jim hesitated. Eventually, they shook hands. But the tension was heavy. Chrissy smiled confidently, comfortably, and asked Jim how he'd been. But that look in her eyes. That wasn't Chrissy who used to beg for his time. That wasn't Chrissy who waited years for a ring. That was a woman who had healed. Later that night, Jim took to Instagram Live, pacing around his home, visibly emotional. He didn't mention Chrissy by name, but fans knew exactly who he was talking about. I let something real slip away. And now? It's hard to sleep, hard to breathe without it, he admitted. Sometimes you think you have forever to get it right. But forever don't wait. Viewers flooded the comments. Some told him to go after her. Fix it before it's too late. Others told him he'd made his choice when he let her go over and over again. Meanwhile, Chrissy was booked and busy. She started promoting her own lifestyle brand, targeted toward mature, independent women reinventing themselves. Her message was clear: you don't have to wait around for someone to see your worth. You are the prize, and her new man. Oh, he wasn't just a rebound. He was reportedly a real estate investor, private, reserved, and the complete opposite of Jim. No flashy chains, no late nights in the studio. No street drama. Friends close to Chrissy say she glows differently now. It's not about the money or the name, one friend revealed. It's the consistency. He shows up, he communicates, he listens. While Chrissy was thriving, Jim was spiraling. The pressure of seeing her move on publicly started to show. He posted throwback pictures of them together. One caption read, "Have you ever seen someone laughing and realized they used to laugh like that with you?" That post alone had fans begging Chrissy to give him another chance. But she didn't flinch. Not once. Then came the bombshell. During an interview with a major podcast, Chrissy finally broke her silence. When asked about the public posts and the brunch moment, she didn't shade Jim. She just told the truth. "I loved that man for a long time. I still care about him," she said. But love alone isn't enough. You can't build a future on potential. At some point, you realize you deserve to be poured into too. When asked if she was officially in a new relationship, Chrissy didn't dodge. She smiled and said, "I'm not hiding anymore. I'm happy. That's all I'll say." Meanwhile, Jim was now turning to his mom, Mama Jones, for support. Even she had things to say. "She ain't waiting on you forever, Jimmy," she yelled during a viral Instagram Live. "You better fight for her or let her be." But behind the scenes, Jim had already been trying. Sources say he showed up too. Chrissy's building late one night. No cameras, no posts. It's just him. Word is he stood outside for nearly 30 minutes before security came down and handed him a note. From Chrissy. The note simply read, "Please stop trying to make things right in private that you broke in public." And just like that, Jim finally understood. She wasn't playing games anymore. She wasn't bitter. She wasn't angry. She was just done. And maybe that's what hurt the most. Because for years, he thought she would always be there. That no matter how much time passed or how many mistakes he made, Chrissy would be waiting. But this time, she walked away and meant it now. Fans are split between heartbreak and celebration. Some mourn the end of an era-thor original love and hip-hop couple. Others applaud Chrissy for choosing herself. Social media has exploded with quotes from her interview, videos of Jim's emotional Instagram lives, and clips of her showing up to events with her new man head high, smile strong and unbothered. Then, story of Jim and Chrissy isn't just a celebrity drama, it's a real-life lesson. A reminder that no matter how deep the love, if it's not nurtured, it fades. A warning that if you take someone for granted long enough, you might wake up one day and realize they've built a new life without you in it. And a message to anyone who's ever been in Chrissy's shoes. You can love someone deeply and still choose to walk away when your peace is on the line. As for Jim, only time will tell if he'll truly move on or spend the rest of his days chasing a love that slipped through his fingers. But one thing is for sure, Chrissy isn't looking back. Not this time. If you thought that was wild, just wait. The next chapter is even crazier. Tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a second of this ongoing drama. Drop your thoughts. In the comments, do you think Jim still has a chance, or is Chrissy really gone for good? And don't forget to like the video if you're here for all the tea.